changing. We're flying high, creating a complaint-free world. No more, no more complaining. People, their lives are changing. We're flying high, creating a complaint-free world. No more, no more.
I am really excited to kick off and share with you what we're going to be talking about over the next several weeks. And that is, I want to talk with you about get ready to get happy this year. Many of you know I wrote a book called Happy This Year several years ago. It's an international bestseller. And I am doing a seminar coming up in a couple of weeks in the Czech Republic. Now, I'm not going to be in the Czech Republic, but it's one of those online things where people purchase tickets, and then I'm just noticing the battery on my computer is a little, people purchase tickets, and then we do a 3-hour seminar on the subject. And I've been actually recording videos and sending them over to the Czech Republic. My publisher has been translating them. So I've put together this series based on my book, Happy This Year, which is one of the most recent published books in the Czech Republic. And so I thought to myself, since I've already got this wonderful outline and the idea is to try and help people to become happier this year, then I thought I would share this with you. So over the next few weeks, we're going to be talking about how to get happy this year. And if you don't have a copy of my book, Happy This Year, go to happythisyear.com. happythisyear.com, and you can read along with us as we talk about these various concepts. So let's get started. Several years ago, when we started the complaint-free movement and people actually started hitting the 21 consecutive days, what we discovered is that, or rather, at that time, as I was writing my book, I'm looking, and my computer, I'm afraid, is going to crash here. Now, we got 18%. I think we might make it. Anyway, back then, I was selling life insurance, and I had scheduled appointments. I lived in just outside of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and this was when I was in my 30s. And I would drive along this causeway to go and see people in their homes to talk to them about life insurance. And there was a sign on the side of the road that was just written on a piece of cardboard and stapled to a paint stick and shoved into the ground that said, "Honk if you're happy." And I remember I had a very negative reaction to that. I just thought happiness was a stupid concept. It had never been something that was discussed in my family. Happy was almost, I hope you're happy with yourself. There was a lot of what's wrong with you? Why are you so happy? Happiness was considered a bad thing. And so I had a negative reaction when I saw this little sign. But I drove back and forth over this causeway. And one day we were driving, and my little daughter at the time was only 3, 2. Anyway, she asked me what the sign said, and I said, "It says honk if you're happy." And she said, "Well, honk, because little kids are just happy. They're just naturally happy." And I honked. And then that got to be a thing. And what I noticed was that as we went back and forth over this causeway, I literally began to feel happier seeing this sign. And this is sort of the essence of what we're going to be talking about over the next few weeks, that happiness is a relative concept. And we truly are, as Abraham Lincoln said, about as happy as we make up our minds to be. And so with 2021 starting, and with 2020 especially having been so challenging, I want to invite you to make 2021 a year that you get happier, a year that you become happier, you feel happier. And we're going to talk more about that. So let me share a bit more about this sign. We would cross the causeway because my mother-in-law had a condo at the beach, and we would go stay there frequently because she was rarely there. So we would cross this causeway, and every time we did, Leah would say, "Honk, Daddy, honk." And so one day I was going to see some people to talk to them about life insurance, and they no-showed me. In other words, they weren't there when I got there. And so instead, I decided to go and see what this sign was about. Now, the sign was there was nothing but woods behind the sign. So I had no idea who might have put the sign there. But I went around to the housing development that butted up to the woods. So on the other side of the woods. And I went to the house that was closest to the woods. And I knocked on the door. And a man opened the door with a big smile on his face. And I said, "Hi, I saw this sign over there, honk if you're happy." And he said, "Yes, come on in." And I thought, oh my gosh, am I about to disappear into this man's home and never be seen again? Is this like a trap for curious people? We went in and we ended up talking because the causeway does go right by their home. There's some woods between their home and the causeway, but it is so close that they can hear all the cars going and coming to the beach. Because at that time, there was really only two ways to get and come from the beach. And so what he decided to do was to make a dying gift to his wife. And this is what I mean. His wife was diagnosed with terminal cancer and was dying. She was given 6 months to live. And she sat in her bedroom and she basically cried from, of course, sadness that she was dying. And he cried. And then finally, he realized there was still a lot of happiness in the world, that there were people going to and from the beach and were celebrating and enjoying, because you're never happier than when you're going on vacation. And he wanted to remind his wife of the happiness in this world. And so he put up this little sign so that as she lay in her bed, people would honk their horns and she would know that there was happiness in the world. I still get choked up thinking of the story and how he invited me. I was a total stranger who had stopped at his house. Come to find out, I wasn't the first. And he invited me into her room where she lay in a hospital bed. And she told me that she made up stories of the cars that crossed the bridge. As she would hear the people honk, she would make up stories. She would say, "Oh, that's the Kennedys. I hope little Jacqueline and Marticia are going to enjoy going to the aquarium," or whatever. She made up the people. She made up the stories. She made up the happiness. And as a result, she was truly happy until she drew her last breath. One day the sign disappeared. It went away, and I figured she was gone. And so for about 2 months, I drove back and forth over the causeway, just wondering how he was doing, etc., not feeling like it was my place to go and see this man who had probably just lost his wife. And instead, one day, as I was crossing the causeway where that little sign had been, I realized why it had been gone. He had gone out and bought one of these big signs you see in front of barbecue joints on wheels. They're about 6 feet by 8 feet or 4 feet. And he put, "Honk if you're happy. Honk if you're happy." And that sign stayed there lit 24 hours a day for a long time. Don't know how long. I do know it's gone now. The point was, he chose happiness. She chose happiness, even at one of the most unhappy times of a person's life. I want you to choose happiness going into 2021. Go to happythisyear.com, get a copy of my book, Happy This Year, and we're going to talk about how you can become happy this year, starting now. Let's take a look at some of your comments before we say goodbye. I see Willow Drinkwater is here. So is Cynthia Barchers. Jennifer says, "TGIF, wow, Czechoslovakia is beautiful," says Willow. Yes, it is. Tina says, "Love your dog." Thank you so much. I do too. He's all cuddled up because he's cold. Willow says, "What a story." Thank you. You're welcome. "The shortest distance between two people is a smile. Happiness is a gateway to a smile." Absolutely, says Ed. It's all a choice. We choose happiness, says Natasha, says Willow. Well, let's begin to choose now. Part of your commitment to 2021 being the best year of your life is to enjoy it. What the heck good does it do if you accomplish a bunch of stuff, but it doesn't bring you joy? So starting this year, let's get happy. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Jerome. He clicked had to share. If you haven't shared yet, click share now. That's how we build this positive community. Daniel Burns says, love to be a part of this, Will. Thanks for leading happiness with and for us all. Daniel Byrne helped me create this book, Happy This Year. I'm so honored to have you here with me, Daniel. We lost my children's dad last Saturday. We're sad, but we chose happiness. Natasha, I'm so sorry to hear that. And in time, I'm sure you have good memories and the pain will lessen over time. Oh, so many wonderful posts. Thanks for the great story. Michelle Doherty says, love you all. Thanks for being with me. My computer literally is almost dead. So I'm going to say TTFN and join me Monday. We're going to continue to talk about happy this year, how to get happy this year. Take good care, and I will see you then. Make it a great weekend. Stay safe. Keep your mask on. We've only got about 6 more months of this, friends. Bye-bye.
No more complaining people. Their lives are changing. We're flying high, creating a complaint-free world. No more complaining people. Their lives are changing. We're flying high, creating a complaint-free world. No more.